Hi everyone, welcome to this week of our class. This week we are going to be working on our informative speech, and I thought it would be a great idea for me to go over the rubric, just kind of letting you know what I expect. So we all have done our first speech already, which is our anecdotal speech. Make sure you go back to that speech and check out their feedback that I gave you for this speech to improve on, since I am going to be looking at things that worked in your previous speech and if you took the feedback that I gave you and used it to improve on this speech. So I quickly wanted to go over the rubric with you all. So as you can see, you can just quickly go to the rubrics tab, click on it, and then you'll find the rubric. It's called the Informative Speech Delivery Rubric. So there are several categories that I'm going to be looking at: the introduction, body, conclusion, and delivery. So for the introduction category, I'm going to be looking that you have all the parts of the introduction. If you have any questions as to what those are, check out the module that I did on outlining and introductions and conclusions. That's where you will find the parts of the introduction. So make sure that you have all of those parts: your attention grabber, credibility, statement, specific purpose, and preview of main points. That's out of 12 points. For the body paragraphs, again, if you have questions in regards to outlining, make sure you watch my mini lecture on outlining again, and make sure you read that module that is done on outlining. It's out of 18 points. Basically, I'm making sure that you have your body paragraphs, they're clearly stated, that they have transitions, separating them one from another. You know, transitions like, now that I talked about this, I'm going to talk about this next. That's a recast forecast transition. A new thing that you're going to be seeing in your speech this time around is the use of oral citations. Oral citations are basically kind of what you would have in a paper that says, according to, as stated by, dot, 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 dot. You would have that in a particular paper if you were quoting someone. Same thing in your speech. Instead of like just, putting a random statistic or a random fact in there, you're going to be saying it in an oral citation format. So you would say something like, according to the New York Times, according to getfit.com, according to Facebook, according to Twitter. Something like that would be an oral citation. And I'm going to be looking for 2 oral citations, meaning that they have to be 2 different sources. If you check out your speech guidelines, you will see that you are required to use 2 to 3 sources to support your speech. So I want to hear those minimum 2 sources quoted in your speech. If you quote the same source twice, that only counts as 1 source. Just wanted to clarify that. Next, for the conclusion, I'm going to be looking at that, you have all the parts of the conclusion. Again, if you have questions, go back to that module. And for the delivery, it's worth 25 points. And I'm going to be looking at you making eye contact with the camera. So again, I already filmed a mini lecture on using your body language. Take that advice and take the suggestions that I gave you in that lecture to make good eye contact with your computer. Make sure that you have eye contact, that if you are using some aid to help you remember the stuff from the speech, that there are flashcards, no outlining and no reading from a computer or telephone or cell phone. Make sure that you are filmed standing up, that you use gestures and the space effectively. Again, check out my video on nonverbal communication and or gestures. That's going to help you use space and gestures effectively. Next, make sure that you speak at a good volume and that you speak at a good pace where we can follow you and we can hear you. Lastly, make sure that you stick with your 4 to 5 minute speech time limit. Do not go over it, do not go under it, and make sure that you have fewer than 10 vocal fillers. If you have 10 or more vocal fillers, to me, it tells me that you didn't prepare enough for the speech. So make sure that you rehearse, that you prepare way ahead of time, that you have your flashcards, take a deep breath, and just deliver your speech. This part of the speech is worth 67 points. Now, going back to the rubrics, we're going to check out the outline rubric, which is called the Informative Speech Outline Rubric. So for this, it's out of 33 points, and I'm going to be looking at format and sources. So for the format, make sure that it's in Roman numeral format. Translations are labeled, so are the speech sections, and make sure that it has a general, specific purpose and a creative title at the top. Again, if you have questions on outlining, I do have my Outline 101 mini lecture that you should check out. For sources, I'm going to be looking at your outline for a works cited page separate from the outline that contains the minimum of 2 sources that you're required to use, and that these sources are in MLA format. If you have questions as to how to do MLA format, shoot me an email and I will send you a link with Purdue OWL that kind of helps you set your citations in MLA format. Make sure that you besides the works cited page and besides the entries that you have in your works cited page, when you are orally quoting or when you are quoting in your outline, make sure that you put the in-text citations, the little parentheses with the author and page number. Again, if you have any questions, I will send out a link with Purdue OWL that will help you do that. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. So 67 points for the outline, for the delivery, and 33 points for the outline adds to a total of 100 points. So this is a speech that is worth a good amount of points. Another thing that I wanted to clarify before I let you go is that pick one of the speeches that I have suggested. It could be about people, events, places, objects, ideas, thoughts. The only speech that you're not allowed to do for this assignment is the process speech, just because it has a different format than the other speech. A process speech is kind of like a step-by-step how-to. It has shorter main points, and it will not get you to meet the 4 to 5 minute time limit. So no process speeches, just focus on the other kinds of speeches. If you have any questions, shoot me an email or see me during office hours. I hope that you are having a great week and happy speech week.